What's up, fellow Lords of Gaming? Welcome back to another video for our great Crimson hero or villain. And we're gonna look at, so basically I still need to get his potential realized, and I want to show you guys exactly the point. So for instance, World Boss Ultimate is where you're gonna be able to use tier 2 characters. So I don't know anybody wasting their daily rolls to play World Boss Ultimate. You know, like I just don't see it. So like where you're gonna really see for the characters is people are gonna, I'm gonna use my daily 5 to go play World Boss Legend. But the problem with that is that essentially I have no way to play, no way to play Omega Red inside of World Boss Legend. He's not available because he's not a potential transcendence. He's not a tier 3. He's not a tier 4 character for me. So in order for me to even level up his things on a daily, I'm going to basically do this. So you can see Cable, I basically only got 8.35% inside there. I wanted to... Where'd you go? Where'd you go, Cable? Come back. All right. So what I had done is basically put him with his other counterpart that recently got the rub inside of my allies, so that way I can level him up there. So this would be a good way for you guys to see Cable as well, nevertheless, get his shine inside here. Now, I only typically play World Boss Ultimate unless I'm pushing some levels at this level, because it just doesn't make sense otherwise. The rewards don't get any better, so and the luck is just terrible as well. So no real reason to play anything higher than stage 2. And so I don't really do tests per se against, like, can this character, you know, do level 90 or so like that, because unless you're just one of the players that really likes to push, and there's nothing wrong with players that like to push, I don't really have a need to do that. I kind of messed that up. No. Did he die? I think he died because I tried to push too hard. Yeah, I thought he was gonna do it. Let's go back to that. I want to try that again. I knew my tier, my what you call it was down, and I went for it anyways. So let's go back inside and do that. Hopefully that didn't mess up my luck, which has been shitty anyways, to basically get this to get him fully out. So Cable's got insane burst damage. Like it's really impressive. I don't know that I'll be tier 4ing him until I see another character that like whether or not we're gonna get who is it, Doctor Strange. I want to see who's gonna be the mid-month inside here. Now typically I don't usually have to rotate through this like this, so usually I can burst down, but his cooldown on there took too long. So really easy burst damage on the character for Cable. So I will get him to level 80 for sure. I just don't know that I'll get him to tier 3. So luckily you can see here that we were able to unlock completely Omega Reds inside here. So let's segue that directly into building the character. So that way you guys can see what that looks like. So I just wanted to show you that overall. So that's one of the limitations for the character. So, all right, let's go back in here. Probably easier to pull him out this way. Mutant combat supervillain. There we go. And here he is. So now we can unlock that potential. And so what you're looking at for the character, number one, is let's take a look at his base level stats inside of here. So remember that a lot of these stats that I have are coming off of my karmic cards. So like my crit damage and stuff like that, those are going to always be high. It's just usually my crit rate and my dodge, which is almost easy to max out for him inside of here. So, so number one, I always like to take a look at the character's skills. You can see that he's all physical damage inside of here as well. So I don't really see a whole lot of reason for you to unlock certain skills. So for instance, with Omega, first and second skill, you can easily skip those if you were short on gold. I am, but I'm gonna max them out anyways. Just because the reason why I would say skip those is because they're gonna cost you gold, and realistically, you're probably not going to rotate into these skills that much in terms of his 1 and 2 skill. Maybe 1, because there are some his recovery effects. So never mind. His 1 skill, you're definitely going to want to beef that one up. 2 skill, it's got paralysis on it, so you probably will as well. 3, 4, and 5 you'll definitely use. So I like to do those. Seem to always have enough of these for type enhancements. Type enhancements aren't like, if you're short on gold, skip the type enhancements. They're not like necessarily gonna help do anything. And the funny part about these for type enhancements as well, it's not even necessarily worth it to go the gold route in this method if you have been playing story mode missions. So and I keep preaching this, but I don't think a lot of people pay attention too much to it. But ultimate clash missions for your fragment combines, you can see I'm up to almost like 200 of these being available to me inside here. And typically you will go inside here and these type enhancement tickets will come. So I'm not even going to enhance this type enhancement because I forgot I had so many of them. That's just for that story mode mission. There's going to be a lot of them inside of there. So like, I wouldn't even worry about that. Like, play story mission. There's a lot of rewards to be gained from story missions overall. Next thing that I like to do is basically get his ISO 8 set up. He's not necessarily a character that I'm exactly like exuberant about playing, especially where he is right now. So I'll take a Hawkeye on him as well. Normally, if it's a character that's going to be in like that tier 3 where I know I'm going to be playing them, or whether or not they're going to go to tier 4, you know, then I will typically look to have that character basically be a power or overdrive. Hawkeye's not really that great. And so a lot of times what I'll do is I'll wait for the days that this comes in to just basically re-roll stats on the character overall, because it'll usually help you max out your the chance at getting additional rewards. So I got lucky anyways. So he got the power of Angry Hulk inside of there, so we can basically go level him out. Now, I don't really care about the character as much as I would want to pretend to. So I'm not gonna, you know, I'm gonna give him what he's gonna get inside the game. So for here, I will give him his all basic attack because I don't want to put an energy attack on him. It doesn't make sense. I gave him the physical attack one here because that one makes sense overall. So we can give him the all basic attack on this one. I'm not really that concerned with which one he gets. His blue, I'm not going to give him a physical defense. You can always rotate out of those physical defense ones and just go into like make them a all defense. It doesn't really take a lot, but I'm just stacking him for what I can give him right now. Energy defense is another one. Like, you want to be changing the options on these. Luckily, there's not but 2 options on these ISO. So when you see them and you get them, it's not a bad thing overall. Like, I can use my dodge ISO, for instance, to change the option on it. And there you go. It's an all basic defense. That's what you want, really, right? I don't typically keep the ISO 8s that are not red inside here. Don't make a whole lot of sense to keep them. And then you basically up to your ass and what you choose for chaotic ISOs. I wish they figured out a way to do these so that way it wasn't, you know, the numbers over here are always skewed, so it's like weird. So let's see if I have any physical attack ISOs that I can just drop on him. Physical attack and HP. Okay, I'll give him that one. I like the physical attack and HP for him. Yeah, let's give him another one of those. I don't think I had another physical attack and HP, so I'll give it. I like to give characters that, so I'll give him a physical attack and dodge over here. And so that gets his stage activated bonus. We're not all the way up there at 12, but you can go to, like, you know, Awakenees. Not difficult. So I like to go back in, take a look at the details for where he's at, so we can see, for instance, his dodge is completely maxed out. His crit rate is not. Usually at that crit rate value, I can go over here to his fourth gear, and you can take a look inside of your details. And you can basically see like the crit rate is there, and you can see which one was there. So like, for instance, the skill cooldown is the one that he's getting the bonus from there, and we're over by about 3.70%. So even if I was to probably change that gear on his 4th skill, the likelihood is that it's not going to help me get the crit rate that I want. So let me show you what I mean by that. So I want it to be crit rate, right? I don't mind changing this. It shouldn't cost me a whole lot to do it. So now if I go back in here and I look at his details, I'm well underneath by about 3%, and it's not going to help the crit rate overall. So I don't really see a reason to essentially do that. I want to change the option back to skill cooldown. Hopefully it doesn't cost me that much to do it, because I'd rather have one of the stats maxed out than have two of the stats under. So that skill cooldown is going to help me out overall there. So I'm more than likely not going to be able to make up for his decrease in crit rate here to hit the 75 mark with the current setup for him. Now, is that a bad thing? You'd have to take a look at like his passives to be able to see what you're getting here. So you can see like the 35 increase in HPs there on that passive. The passive for Omega Sense down here, he's getting super armor, all basic defense, and a 5% recovery. And then his leadership, he's only getting increase of physical attack and speeds. Crazy, because that's his leadership, and it's like a character that you would want. This is even more of the slap in the face. He's getting a 30% increase of physical attack, which only applies to himself and applies to all allies. So to get this bonus, you would have to put him in a leadership role for a character. Are you ever going to put this dude in a leadership role for him? No, probably not. You know what I mean? Like, probably more than likely, I would say no. You're never going to put him in the leadership role. There's better characters that could give him better benefits than him having that. So it just kind of sucks overall. Then you can look at the skill abilities inside here to see whether or not any of these abilities are going to help you max out on his crit rate. So for instance, right here, you can see that his 5th skill gives him 7 seconds, and it gives him a frenzy buff of a crit rate about 30%. So when you look at that, you're looking at how much time you're going to have into the rotation for the character. The 30% essentially will make up for that in the downtime of that 5, because that 5 skill right there has a 7-8 second cooldown on it. So you're going to be probably rotating into, and it's up pretty much the entirety of that skill time being down. So you'll get the 30% of the crit rate to basically max out there. So not a bad thing overall. So you're not too worried about it, right? Skills maxed out. The type, like I said, you can go into its type enhancement through the story mode. Go there and do that. The ISO 8. I see a lot of people, you know, newer players trying to build characters here, and they just mess up on the ISO 8 completely inside the kit, because you'll just like see people have these with energy attacks and things like that, and this doesn't make sense. Artifacts is going to be whether or not you're lucky enough to get an artifact. Like, that's essentially what it is. Is he going to be like an artifact that you are dying to get? Probably not really. Custom gear is probably you're not going to have a uniform for the character. So custom gear is probably the last place that you're going to look at what the character really is going to need and what he's going to really do for you outside of going into your Uru. And so we'll come back to this, but let's go into the Uru first off, right? So all right, so I hate to do this just because it's going to cost money, right? So we're going to go equip Uru. So I usually tend to like to amplify the slots, regardless of whether I'm using a character or not. Maybe it's just me, maybe it's Maybelline, I don't know. I just like to do that to at least get the 4 amplified slots. I'm not necessarily going to go for 5 on a character that's not going to go to tier 4 at this point. You know, it used to be tier 3, and I'd be like, okay, if I can get a character to tier 3, then that's good enough, and I'll be kind of happy with that. But where I'm at currently, it's like, hey, as long as I can get 4 on a character, like even for him, it's probably not worth it for me to do those, but you get the 4 and it doesn't really cost you so much to do these. But go in, amplify your stats, just because it's going to help out get some of those. It's going to help round out some of the other stats that you're going to have across the character, like for whatever you equip, whether you're equipping HP Urus or whether you're equipping energy attack, physical attack Urus. It's going to help that out overall. So like it's one of the reasons why you should go into amplifying. If you don't have the gold, skip it. Like just skip it, because you can always come back to amplifications when you have more gold, and then equip those. So but we got lucky. We got 4 in here. So we'll go back to the first one, and then he's a physical attack character. So you want these physical attack Urus, and you want to make sure that you equip at least 2 of these physical attack Urus onto a character. So on for each. So for physical attack for the normal Uru, you can equip 2 on each of the gears. So make sure that you do that, because it doesn't make sense not to do that. You want to boost up the character sense. So I don't have enough physical attack Urus, so give me 1 second. So what we can do with the physical attack Uru, since we are short on them, is you could come back inside of here and you could go to your Uru and then just level up some Uru inside of your inventory. Not so difficult for the upgrade. Artifacts, why am I in artifacts? So let's see if we have any physical attack Urus at 5-star. It's my crit rate. There we go. So let's, no matter what, we're not going to be able to get enough. You need basically 8 of these. So we got 4. Nothing there. So we got to go down a level over here. Let's see what we can get for these. Max these out, combine them. Nice, got 11 of them, so not too bad there. Cool, an additional 2, so then we can come back in here and we should be able to get the additional 4 from this one right here. There we go. All right, so now we can go back to him and we can max out those Uru slots. Always important to, at the very least, if you're building up a character, put those on there. It's just gonna help overall. Like put these on here. Like, it just makes sense. Just makes sense. Trust me. You're gonna get the beef up in your physical attack stats, which should help you overall in your general gameplay, right? So we get the 2 physical attacks inside of here equipped. So now the way you want to equip your additional Uru inside of here is going to be highly dependent upon whether or not you are going to try to make up for the ground that you lost out on with the character or not. What I like to do for characters, especially a character like Omega Red, is I'm going to equip HP Uru to this character. I'm going to equip 2 HP Uru on him. He's already getting bonuses because of his because of the Uru there. I mean, because of his passives. So I'm going to do it. Now I'm going to save this slot, and I'm going to show you why I'm going to save that amplification slot inside of here. So I'm going to put HP on the character here and here, and then we'll do the same here and here, and then we already got the HP. So what I'm going to do now, because I know the one stat that he's deficient in is his crit rate, is I'm going to put these Urus to the character, the crit rate Urus. So I'm just going to put all 4 of them because I don't feel like going back and forth between looking at how much they're giving to him overall. But you can see like it's 185, and so it's probably still not going to be enough to maximize, but I'm using the amplification slot just so that way I can get like some idea of like, you know, hey, maybe I can hit the mark inside here. So now if I go to my character details inside of here, he's still short, like 67.49% is where he's sitting at with those. I could have probably easily made up the difference with cooldown duration inside of here. Am I too worried about it? No, not particularly, because I'm not going to be playing this character a whole lot. Like, that's just the truth of the matter. I'm just trying to show you guys how you could build the character overall. Now, you could make up ground for the character by giving additional crit rate stats. So like, for instance, he's maxed out on a crit rate here. If you wanted to try to really hit those, then you could reasonably give him a crit rate Uru ISO 8 inside of here instead of giving like the physical attack or dodges, but that's what I'm going to give him for now. So that's essentially what you have for the character, and that's the build. So last thing that you want to do is you want to equip some type of custom gear to the character. Now, I am not going to give a tier 2 character a custom gear. I'm not going to give them a CTP. That's just never going to happen whatsoever. So now that they've basically have given the ability for you to get obelisks that do have, you know, the stats for increase all basic damage inside of here, it makes it a little bit easier to say like characters like Omega Red you can put in a certain wheelhouse, because it's easier now to go basically look at a character and say, hey, I could beef up the character. Now, the great part about these is that if you have crit rate or crit damage on one of these, that's going to be your route to fixing his stats as well. So I'm looking to see if I have any crit rate stats inside here. So I do. Now I've got one inside here that has increased basic damage by 120%, but it also has a 24.1% and a 24.7% ability on him. So I'm going to equip that obelisk to him, and it gives me increased basic damage by 120 for one attack inside of there. Now you could work out and get maybe like your 200% stack on there or something like that, but that's good enough for me. So now I can come back over to Mega Red, and I can see that I've got complete attack speed, crit damage, crit rate, ignore defense, reduce cooldown duration, and dodge, all up because of my cards, because of my my other account effects, and then the way I've built the character. This is how you should be building a character inside Marvel Future Fight. Last thing to do is just basically go inside here and build up, you know, your enhancement kits. But you know, you can go inside there, level these up as you need, as you see fit. I'm just not leveling up on him right now because he's tier 2 and he's not tier 3. So I don't want to put too much investment. And the purpose of this video is just to show you how to build a character inside Marvel Future Fight. So what I'll do is the next video, because this one's dragging on long, I'll do a video of testing him out inside the game, and so that way you can see him inside some of the World Boss Ultimate content, not the World Boss Legend, because I can't use him inside Legend content. It'd be nice to show him inside Legend. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Until next time, peace.